Welcome back to Cassette Beasts. We still have some more Gauntlet to go through, and I've made a few changes. For one, I've leveled us up a decent amount. We're up to 150 now, when before I think we were hovering around just a little over 100. Got us up to 150. I'm crossing my fingers that this will last us until the end of the entire Gauntlet. We will find out. I'm not necessarily confident in that, but we will find out. So, given the monsters that we do have here, I've also made a couple changes to them. Undying now has gone from 2,500 HP to 4,631 HP. And this was done almost entirely just by swapping out the plus % max HP per empty slot for higher numbers of that. Like I would swap out a plus 5% for a plus 9%. Otherwise, not a lot has changed. 8% HP per slot, 8% HP, 9%, 7%, 9%, 7%. So that was done almost entirely just with that. Now, another thing that I've done, keep in mind that's like the Ivy number for HP, so that's not her actual HP. That number is a number that's unaffected by level, whereas her actual HP is affected by level. Now, something else I've done was on AP Factory, I had something that healed me every time it was used. And this was... it was very good, but it had its limits. When it was, say, heals 8% of HP, whenever then AP Factory was used, when you start dealing with things that deal actual percentage HP, like Leech, this cannot keep up with that. And on top of that, where's my brain going on this one? On top of that, it also only worked when AP Factory triggered. And if we got into a situation where our partner could not use all of that AP, we stopped healing. So, I swapped it out, because there is another rare attribute that is heals 8% of max HP per empty slot. This heals 8% max HP per empty slot. I spent a considerable amount of time at that vending machine getting stickers, and I want to say this is probably the rarest effect to get. Like, I'm not going to get into how much I spent how much time and money I spent at that vending machine right now, but know that not only over the course of the entire game up until now, but also through an obscene amount of spending not long ago, I have gotten a grand total of 2 of these rare effects. One of them was heals like 3%, and then I was lucky enough, just in like the last moments, to get this second one that heals 8%. But let's think for a minute. Heals 8% of max HP per empty slot. I have 8 slots. That is 64% of my max HP healed every time I use Spit. Which is going to be once, perhaps more, every turn, with 2 heads. And if I'm full up on AP, or if I don't have any AP to give, doesn't matter, I can keep spending. The only time this will stop working is if something happens, like I get put to sleep. Which, pain in the butt. So this is a little bit absurd now. So we have nearly twice the HP, which means we have twice the attack, and we're healing 64% of our HP every time we attack. For the record, I have 23,738 HP. Which means healing 10,000 HP a turn? More? Really? 15,000 HP a turn? So, Undying is a bit of a beast at this point. Also made some changes to Southpaw. I put a custom starter on AP boost. I actually have one of these. Hold on, I'm gonna go make a quick change. I forgot about this one, and that's very useful. Good news! We just got even stronger. So I actually looked at the numbers for it. And I swapped out that gambit that I had for a different gambit that had a +1 slot instead of the chance to trigger at the start of battle. Because the chance to trigger at the start of battle was like 78% or something. Custom starter will actually, on a 2 AP move, has like an 81% chance of triggering. So this isn't much, but it is actually better to have custom starter on a 2 AP move than it is to have even a 78% chance to trigger at the start of battle. The chance to trigger at the start of battle is much better used on very high AP moves. So what we've done with Southpaw now is I added custom starters to everything that I wanted started at the start of the fight. A reminder that this is still immune to Machine Curse because it's targeting yourself. And it's not triggering another move. Well, it's triggering another move, but it's triggering Haunt. But what Machine Curse makes that do is it makes Haunt target yourself, which it already is. So you can use Custom Starter on self buffs. So we have Custom Starter on Haunt, Custom Starter on Gambit, and Custom Starter on AP Boost. I gave enough of them a +1 slot that I can account for all of these. This gives us a pretty good chance to have all of the status effects on us turn 0, which means turn 1, I can just use Dog Ears. Which means turn 2, we can swap Southpaw out for something else. That was the immediate plan, was to get him as set up as possible to swap out for somebody else. Now, who are we swapping out for? Let's take a look at Miss Mimic. So I haven't done a lot with Miss Mimic, but it is the one that we want to swap out for, because Miss Mimic can do some decent damage, but unfortunately has very little in the way of survivability. What I did do was I gave Miss Mimic Last Rites. Now, Last Rites has 82% chance to use it to start a battle, which I believe if you tried to put a custom starter on this instead at 10 AP, it's like 2% or something. So 82% chance that this will just happen when we swap in Miss Mimic. And it ignores walls. Also kind of important. Also plus 16% damage, you know, for funsies. That's the main thing I did for Miss Mimic, was give her last rites. The chance to use the start of battle is going to be fun, but mostly I just added this move for if we're sitting here with full AP and don't know what to do with all of that AP, have Miss Mimic use last rites. I don't think I immediately did anything else. And then I have not made any changes to Toku Sect or Rose Hood. Now, Headshot Khepri is a relatively easy build at the end of the day, which is why it is so easily thwarted with Machine Curse. All you need is one headshot and a bunch of random starters. Not terribly complicated. Completely thwarted by Machine Curse. I got the idea, but there is that rare sticker attribute. Percent chance to trigger at the start of battle. So what if I got 8 headshots? And put percent chance to use at the start of battle on all of them. And you know, while I was at it, let's go ahead and put +1 slot on all of them. And let's put passive +7% ranged attack per empty slot on all of them. This is the ultimate form of Headshot Khepri. That percent ranged attack raises Khepri's ranged attack, which I'm sure you can see. 2,500 was big. 4,000 was huge. We have 18,904 ranged attack. And we have 8 headshots that all have a good chance of triggering at the start of battle. Now, I mentioned that the heal percent per empty slot was perhaps the rarest sticker attribute to get. Percent chance to use at the start of battles is probably the second. I have 8 of them here, on top of one that I have on another character, on Miss Mimic. So I am in possession of 9 of them. Throughout the course of the game and all my grinding, I had 5. I spent tens, I'm not exaggerating, tens of thousands of steel on that vending machine. And I gave up at 7 of 8 headshots having chance to use at start of battle. The 8th one I just took from Southpaw. This is a Headshot Khepri that is viable in endgame. It's not really viable in PvP though, because I don't think they like rare. I don't think they like rare sticker attributes. But this is a Headshot Khepri that's viable in endgame, and has a ranged attack of 18,000. So gimme your worst. You know what? I'm going to actually swap in Headshot Kepri. For funsies.
Come. We.
Oh yeah, I forgot we also have double the HP now and I leveled up a bunch. Okay, so you're just gonna spit because that's still kind of your thing. Headshot Kepri is actually reasonably useless. When after its first turn. So we've got everything on. So I can't use dog ears. We are flinched. And we're asleep. Okay, so we're asleep. How many items that wake you up? A cure-all. Petrified, Resonance, Berserk, Leeched, Confused, Conductive, Poisoned, Burned. Doesn't use up your turn. You wake up. And get to spitting. We're still confused, so I'm kind of glad that went through. I don't know if I can get rid of that bomb. Oh, because I'm berserked. Do I dare? No, I have 2 bombs on me. Easy.
Hey.
So we did manage to win these fights before. I know that, like, sleep, the sleep one, I think it was Vengeful Curse. That one is problems. That one is problems. We didn't get Gambit, frustratingly. They're both using channeled power. So channeled power makes them both like pseudo archangels. You didn't actually get your Gambit off. Aha, the ricochet worked. The trick is to not let them have a turn. So we haven't had too hard a time yet. Whoops.
Shocking. Best of luck.
This fight, I think we also won. Okay, we did not get our AP. But that may be fine as long as we can use dog ears. Oh, that multi-target's gonna be problems. Well, with any luck, they'll just die. Oh, they have multi-target anyway, so I kind of don't care.
Shocking. Shocking.
Thanks, Capri. Cleo. This is the one that I could not beat. This was my wall. Okay, we got Haunt, Gambit. Magnet is guaranteed, and we got AP boost, so we got all our buffs. We're petrified, which is going to be problems. We do have our AP. No, you have Gambit on. Not really a lot that I can do when I'm petrified. I can cure it. It does use up a turn, but kind of whatever. I'm gonna dog ears you. And now you are good to go. No, hit the other one. Thank you. Stop! You can't kill them! Oh my goodness. Stop! They're already dead! Okay, you just spit, kind of do whatever you want to do. You bring out my stomach. Vengeful Curse is kind of a jerk move, though. I remember a build that somebody did where the build was twofold. It was designed so that they could use Trick, and it would trigger as many times as possible on one move. So like you would trick every turn and just put so many status effects on them. And then by the time you actually managed to kill them, they had like 8 vengeful curses on them.